You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net. Good evening, Tamara. What are you doing? I see you're rolling a doobie.
Oh, yes. Well, you know, I usually have one sparked up. I had one all rolled up before the show.
Yeah.
And I already smoked it. So
so tonight I got four things on my list that I'd like to discuss during the broadcast at some point throughout the show, and that's BC, what's going on over there, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club. Get a little bit of information on what's going on in the U.S. as far as the Democratic Party's marijuana policy, not policy, but where the people stand on the cannabis end of things.
Well, they hang a little bit more left, I think, and I think they're seeing it more as a commodity.
We're going to be talking about a cannabis recall, as well as teen cannabis use is down. Jeez, something doesn't seem right there. They always told us that when you legalize, cannabis use would go through the roof.
Oh, well, you know, when you put an age limit on it, they can't walk into the store or go in as a minor. That kind of kiboshes it. When the legal system makes it so that even the illegal market is pretty much dust, there's no access for them to get it. I think that was the goal for, and the children that are accessing cannabis are getting it via their parents and getting it from a safe, tested, you know what I mean? Like it's not coming from the streets. And I hate to say that, but that was like, for years I didn't realize, but we were smoking mold spores and all kinds of things because it wasn't being grown properly.
Well, yeah, and for years, I'm sure people, and I'm sure I know of people who have consumed some mold spores over the years. The good thing is, over those years, nobody died from smoking any cannabis that was grown.
That would be the only way you would die from cannabis, is if you got something that wasn't good for you.
Yeah, or it falls on you, suffocates you.
Right? But again, I've been at parties when I was younger, and somebody slipped something else into that joint, and you're smoking that joint, and it's not just weed, too, right? So again, that can still happen at a party. Now that it's legal, that makes no difference whether you.
Exactly.
Slip something into it while they're rolling it, but nothing is laced. You know what I'm saying? There's no lacing ability.
So we've been up to lately. We'll get into some cannabis talk here in a second, but anything exciting you want to mention?
I don't know. What
I don't know. I'm just asking you. You've always got some adventurous story before we get into things.
Oh, actually,
today I just jumped right into our topic.
Yeah, no. Not anything that I really want to discuss because it has to do with my son. Other than that, not really.
Okay. Well, what I'm gonna do is tonight we're broadcasting on to the
Treating
Yourself Facebook page. So I thought I'd bring down the sign. This is the actual sign from the 2010 Treating Yourself Expo. Let me just get.
You know what? I found one of my little jars. It's sitting out on my kitchen.
Did you?
Yeah. And they're just popping up all over the place because I used to store keef in them, and I'd have keef and oil and stuff, and I'd use them for when I was making candy, right? So I was like, for the cupboards because I got some new ADHD medication, so everything's being organized. So I'm finding these things that I forgot I even had. Yeah.
Right. So no snow this week or anything?
No,
Did you get hail? That's some
Yeah,
golf ball size hail. Well, I didn't mean to make snow, but yeah.
we did get a dumping, and yeah, we did get some good hail. We had a good storm for sure. We're still sitting under a watch right now again because it's like hot, and then it cools off quick, and then it just like hail and all these it happens, right? Calgary
Yeah.
got hailed really good. I have friends that had pictures of like golf ball size hail in Calgary for sure.
I saw that in the news.
But yeah, we did have some good storms, and then it's been hot. Like today, it was kind of crappy when I got up this morning, but then it's
Right.
been hot and humid all day. Like it's just kind of like lingering. But yeah, we've had some pretty good storms. Nothing like I said. It's been 2 days of that, and I don't even know what
No,
it's Wednesday, right? So Wednesday, I'm always so tired because I had to close the store last night.
sure. Then you got up early today and worked, and
I'm like 4 hours sleep usually. I'm like, I get home
uh,
from
get
do everything not to lay down, just go
the
to sleep.
toothpicks out. Get the
Yeah,
toothpicks out.
yeah, exactly. Because I'm
Yeah.
I'm tired. So my brain
Yeah.
doesn't always feel quite function when I'm thinking, what did I do this week? What day is it today?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I know it's Wednesday because Alexa's telling me at 5:30 it's show day. That's how I remember. Because like last Monday, I got because my Alexa, the power had gone down. My Alexa wasn't working.
Oh, okay.
Monday came and went, and I went, oh fuck, it's 2 o'clock. I forgot to do my show.
I
This
noticed.
last Monday, no, I reset Alexa. So Alexa went off at 11:30 on Monday to remind me that I had to do my shows. I was like, oh yeah.
Jeez.
And she goes off at 5:30 tonight, so I can set the computer up. I'm serious, Al. Like, but again with this new, like, they upped my medication again, so I'm
Yeah.
finding a little more clarity this week. So I actually didn't have to remember. I had told Taylor that we had to eat early because I had my show, so I remembered.
Right. Good. Good. All right. So as I mentioned, we had some things that I wanted to discuss, and one of them is the Victoria Campus Buyers Club article that came out yesterday in StratCan mentions that they have received a $3.2 million fine from the BC government. Like
I can't imagine like what that would be for and why it's so excessive. Like, they're like, do they actually
it's
think
based on it's based on the product that is returned. It's based on the amount equal to twice the retail value of the cannabis that was sold or possessed by the business for the
okay?
purpose of sales.
Yeah, I get that. So they're saying,
Yeah,
and then they'll hold it for proceeds of crime because
yeah.
it's still, whether it's been criminally charged or not, it's still an illegal act. So it's still proceeds of crime, no matter how they word it. It's like they don't have to technically even be charged. That's
Yeah.
how that other court case went in Saskatchewan. Remember how he said that he had forfeited all his stuff, and then basically they said that too bad, you can't have it, even though
Mm.
you weren't convicted. It was still proceeds of an illegal transaction. So they can word it in 10 different ways and make it so that you never see your stuff.
Yeah, we were talking about this before the show, and I was thinking it was on top of the existing
Yeah.
$6.5 million that's sitting there now. But when I read this article, it says that those were previously proposed fines.
Yeah, I think this is like they went to court, and this is what the actual
This is
fine.
what they ended up with was
Yeah,
the
I think
is
they were
this
fighting that. They were
3.2.
fighting the tickets, right? And that's why they had Kirk and Jack
Yeah.
and this litigation to try and fight these bylaw tickets, right? Kind of like if I
Mhm.
got a ticket for the chickens, right? It's the same thing. It's a bylaw, or within the BC, it's a BC stuff. Kind of, it's not the same as criminal law. It's different, right? It's a different litigation because
Yeah.
it's not a criminal offense anymore. They've taken
Now,
the criminal offenses out of cannabis, even for that kind of.
now they say here that the deputy director of the CSU says that she did not find that Ted Smith was not personally selling cannabis. She did find, so he wasn't. She's not accusing him of selling. She's saying that he wasn't selling cannabis contrary to the provincial regulations, but notes that she has not made a determination as to whether Smith or any of the VCBC directors, officers, or agents may be liable for a monetary penalty imposed on the VCBC.
That was what the judge said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is a complicated, this is like there's no precedence for this, right? There's no prior cases that any judge can go back to litigate with, because this is like the first time this ever happened, right? So there's no precedent setting cases prior to that she can go back, and she's basically having to make a ruling on her own knowledge of the law and what refinements she has within the law, right? And this is like something that's never happened before. So she's being thrown like this case with all this stuff, and then they're fighting about the fact that patients have rights and they should be in business because of the
and they got the
things, right?
higher doses for patients,
right? But she can't rule on any of that. And that's the thing. This is not something she can rule on because this is legislation. Legislation cannot be changed in a court, right? Something
this is
that
they're like in BC. That is, oh no, I guess it's still the federal.
BC has a different Cannabis Act too. BC wrote their Cannabis Act completely different than any other province. Again, why the First Nations can't have stores on their
because the provincial end is written different crap.
Cannabis Act too that has. I was reading something about it today. I just have to
remember. Some agreement or something
different. Yeah, but it's different than where. I can't remember what the hell it was. I'll have to think on that for a minute because I read it earlier. But there's something else in our Cannabis Act too that I read that is totally completely different, that puts restrictions on certain things out of the province. Kind of like Quebec, where they can't grow their own and they can't smoke it anywhere and they can't have a pot leaf on their shirt. They wrote their own laws, right?
But yet it's federally legal to wear that shirt, grow that cannabis, and the federal court didn't help any. So
no, because this has been put into legislations.
Like it makes you wonder, like if Quebec can ban it, what prevents any other province or a federal government from doing it?
The federal government could pull the whole program, and then the provinces would have to shut their programs down because then it would be federally not legal anymore. Right. It was never given jurisdiction earlier to the provinces. Well, that might not work because they did kick jurisdiction to the provinces. They would have to keep it the way it is because the provinces could reign their own. So I don't think it would change. I don't think cannabis is a legislation that anybody would change. It's too much of a cash cow. That's what I was talking about.
I think there's some things that could be changed.
Yeah,
I don't know. Right? If my concern is the right to grow your 4 plants.
Oh, the 4 plants.
Being that the Quebec government can do it, why can't the federal government do it, right?
Well, they could, but I doubt they would.
And that doesn't touch the medical program, so patients still have access to growing their cannabis.
If they can get their doctor to sign the paperwork.
If they can get the doctors to sign the paperwork, exactly.
Right? So. And that's the thing, but that's always been the main hurdle. We always said the doctors were the gateway to our program, and it was because of
college. Well, they are,
right.
Yeah. Now, for anybody who doesn't know about the VCBC, they're the oldest cannabis
compassion
club in the country. 1996. They've been up and running. So we'll have to get Ted on the broadcast and talk to him, see what's going on. So, all right. Let's see. Outside on that, just so you know, I probably could be covering this story tomorrow on the news for a little more detail on that. Yeah, always because we run a promo here for the VCBC on one of our commercial sets, talking about the fines. Yeah, the big fines that have been levied against them.
So they're not 6 though. They've levied them at 3 point whatever.
Correct. Yeah.
They've taken it down by half, so they don't need. And of course, their legal fees too, right? So
and the article said that Kirk and Jack were still fighting it. We're
Oh
still,
yeah,
yeah, it's not over yet. Still lots
no,
more to go.
because there's got to be, like I said, patients have already been given that we've already been given that privilege, right, or that right, or
Yeah, that
in
was section
it's privilege, right?
4 and 5.
And that's the thing in Canada. It's not like a right. We have no rights in Canada. What we have is privileges, right? And it's a
Mhm.
different setup with our rule of law and our, like I said, our constitution and the charter are different from what the Americans have. So we do not have actual rights in Canada. We have privileges for things, and we have rights, but it's different, right? Like there's not an actual right to. It's wording.
Well, yeah, I think it was the Matt Murnoff trial, his court
I was a
case.
witness, yeah, and it was
Yeah, in that ruling, that's what the judge said is that there was no right
no,
to the cannabis.
no,
Yeah,
because it's a privilege, like a driver's license. Like nobody has a right to drive a car. That's a privilege that you're given in Canada, right? You have no
yeah.
right.
Once you've proven you can
You
do
don't
it.
have rights. You have privileges, and they can pull those privileges at any time, like like using the notwithstanding clause, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's not even go there.
Right? So, and if that's the case, and every program that we've got that we are privileged to by our charter will be gone,
Yeah,
including. So we'll just put that.
yeah, yeah. No, the cannabis it'll always stay here. I see that. I don't see it leaving, but I could see there be changes, no matter which way it goes. So,
Well,
but
hopefully for the better. Like, I
huh?
mean, I hopefully for the better. I hope at some point in the future that we get enough research that shows that cannabis is absolutely got the medical qualities that we claim that it does,
Yes.
and have the medical research to throw right in Health Canada's face, and then they actually deem it a medicine, and then we can actually have a leg to stand on, and then we
Yeah,
will
but
have
do
our own
you do you
forefront.
do you, do you see them as far as deeming whole plant cannabis as a medicine, or would it be more along the line of the pharmaceutical grade? Yeah, which they've already done, with a couple
They've
of different
already done
pills
that.
out there, right?
They've already done the pharmaceutical synthetic, right?
Yeah.
And look where that got them. People still saying that it was ineffective and not working the way it should, and it wasn't the same as the compound of the full spectrum of that full plant. And it was whether it was smoking it or whether it was a certain way that a person used it for whatever ailment that they had. That's how it works for them, right? And it's an individual based, just like any other
No.
pharmaceutical or any other medicine. It works differently for everybody because our body chemistries are all different. We're
Yeah.
individual, and it doesn't
Our
matter what
our
we choose,
friend our
right?
friend Allison, our friend Allison tried it in the past, and
Yeah.
you don't hear
Like,
her talking about it, so it's not being
right?
used anymore. Yeah.
Exactly. And you don't hear people raving about Marinol or
No.
Sativix or whatever the hell oh yeah, I took this stuff and I'm brand new and I take it on a daily. I don't have to smoke anymore. No, people are talking like that
No.
about gummies
And
and on,
yeah.
that kind of thing. And I smoked this great strain, or I ate these great gummies, or I had a brownie and I feel like a new person. You don't hear people saying, yeah, ate this Marinol.
No. 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 Exactly. There's nobody that I'm aware of that says that they prefer the prescription cannabis over the whole plant cannabis.
I can't say as I know anybody that's ever. Well, I know somebody that used it once, and that's only because he was traveling to the States and used it for back pain, right? And
Right.
crap.
Hmm.
And that's the only person I've ever known that's ever used it. And he was actually a medical cannabis, patient as well, but
Right.
couldn't take his medicine with him to the States, right?
No. 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 And so the doctor prescribed
He didn't
them.
take that because it was a pharmaceutical. It came in a pill bottle. It had his name and the prescription. And they didn't bat an eye if you were bringing prescriptions over. If you're
Oh
bringing
yeah. Really?
traveling,
Eh? And well, they would.
no. If you're traveling anywhere and you have prescription, it doesn't matter what the prescription is, as long as it's in a pill bottle with your name and it all matches
Yeah.
up. You can go anywhere.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. But you try that with your prescription cannabis with it in the bottle. with the label on it and everything, it's not going to work.
Well, now, not internationally. Then within Canada, you could always
You
travel with.
think, yeah, I
Like
would
if
think
I
that.
flew from Calgary to Toronto and had
Sure.
to bring medicine with me or bring medicine
Mhm.
home, as a patient, I could. I just had to carry my paperwork with me. And
Right.
before
Right.
that, like before we had the 150-gram travel BS that happened on the last ruling, when we didn't matter how much we carried. I came back from Toronto one time with a pound in my carry-on. Anything.
It still has to go through it. It still has to be. It's still checked, like whether it's still
They
X-rayed.
didn't even, they didn't even check. They didn't ask. The bag went through the went through the X-ray, and I picked my carry-on up, put my shoes on, and kept on going right onto the plane. Nobody said a damn word.
No word, eh?
Nope.
They would just sort of
Like a
see something of mass.
Well, I had pipe, my little
Well,
keep
that would
box.
show up separately. That's for sure.
I had my license sitting right on top of the pound of pot. Like I had the pink paperwork, elastic band around the weed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In case they found it.
In case they
Yeah.
opened the bag and went, "What's this?" Well, that's what that is. I mean, I quite expected. That's why there was an elastic band with my pink paperwork wrapped around the pot.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Just in
So yeah,
case.
I have traveled with it. I've traveled with it several times, but not out of
Yeah.
the country. I've never left the country. I don't even have a passport.
Yeah. Yeah. Flying right here
Yeah,
within Canada. Yeah. You're not leaving the
domestication.
country. So.
Yeah, and I mean, we've all had licensing. Well, I have since 2012, so it's
Mm,
since then, long before legalization. We had
yeah.
that freedom long before everybody else got it.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it was a big. It was a great thing to have to be able to, get out there and do what we were doing all those years before legalization. Being able to talk to people about cannabis, go to those treating yourself uh, booths that Marco was putting the magazine in at the different home shows and trade shows where you didn't expect to see a cannabis booth, and then people would walk by and they would look at us and they would put a big grin, smile on their face, and I would say, "See that? It works, and you don't even need to consume it."
Right?
Right?
It'd be just people asking questions. Actually, I was going through
Yeah.
pictures today. I actually found a picture of the car all done up in the green poofs for the parade that we were in out here.
Oh yes.
In
Yeah.
therapeutic cannabis partners, all everybody in their white lab coats, and I'm wearing my 420 pace show t-shirt.
Hmm.
That was fun though, but I mean, again, that's historic stuff that we could do long before
Yeah.
legalization because
Yeah.
we had our licensing and we were involved in, trying to get the word out about cannabis and
Yeah.
how it's a medicine and how it should be regulated. And I mean, there were so many reasons for a lot of us, right? It wasn't like
Yeah.
there's so many tentacles to the plant.
Oh, for sure. And like things that we were doing in the expo days, like back then. Um, as the sign says, world's largest vapor lounge.
I know, right?
Yeah, and like this was indoor. It was 4,600 square feet.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that before. You couldn't do that after legalization.
No. No. And I
And
mean, really, all it was the back end of the convention center with some walls wrapped around it, and a guy stand there with show your license, and you walk in the door, right?
yeah, there was a sign there.
Yeah, come this way. Come this way.
But
Come.
and we had plants on
Yeah,
folded, like real plants that were in real dirt pots. And there was plants that were little plants, big plants, and plants that were in full bloom.
well,
Can't do that now.
for
Can't do that
building
now.
the lighting companies and all the dirt and soils and the
Oh
seeds.
yeah.
You had access to be able to buy seeds at these shows, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Good ideas and see what were the best lights and all the booths with all the glass and all the new vaporizers because that's when vaporizers were first coming out too,
Mhm.
right? especially the
Yeah,
smaller ones, like the Zeppelin. I got because Julie Chorero, who's owner of Skunk Magazine now, who
yeah.
used to be a co-host on the network here,
Here on the network.
was up then, right? And
She had the Magic Flight.
right, and she
She was
gave us
selling
some.
it.
I was in with the Normal Women's Alliance, right? So Debbie
Right.
and I both got one of those. I still have it. Like I've got this
Oh yeah.
suitcase that's full of all kinds of papers and stuff that I picked up from those shows and stuff. I've never used any of them, but I've got a
Oh,
suitcase full of all that stuff.
and that Magic Flight, you had to stick a battery in it,
Yeah,
a double A battery in it, and it connected to make
yeah.
the wire heat up.
And then you had to put the pod in this little thing and close the window and then puff on it. Yeah.
Yeah. It looked like a matchbox.
During the first break, I'll see if I can find it. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure I know exactly where it is. But yeah, like I said, I'm kind of a pack rat and don't get rid of anything. The only things I regret is I had all the Treating Yourself magazines, every volume, and I had every volume of Skunk, and I had every volume of Cannabis Culture that I had collected over the years. And when my basement flooded,
Oh.
all the stuff and all the memorabilia from the Kootenai Cannabis Club
Oh, gone.
because the basement flooded and it was all downstairs.
Yeah.
Totes. They were sitting in cardboard boxes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I lost.
I got everything in plastic tubs.
Oh, I do
Then-
now.
Yeah.
I do now. There's nothing down there that anything could wreck anymore. But the only
Mhm.
thing that didn't get wrecked was the tent because it was in a suitcase.
Oh, okay.
Like my growing
Yeah.
tent, right? But all my
Right.
ballasts, like all the ballasts, all the shades, everything.
Got ruined in the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some stuff that was ruined a couple years ago in a flooded basement.
Yeah, I remember that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
we all had our floods, right? We all had our losses. But yeah, there's
Cross your
that.
fingers. It doesn't happen again. But
The way it was raining the other night. Did you see those pictures on my Facebook? Holy moly! I said to Taylor,
no, I just saw the ones with the hail.
out in front of the store because I was working, right? But I actually
Right.
texted him. He says, "Go check the basement because we're low. Like my house is sunk, like down
Right.
from the top of it." Yeah, and I
Yeah.
told him to check the kitchen too because it runs into the carport. Oh yeah, into the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't, but yeah, we have to
Yeah.
watch the rains.
Yeah, water running into the house where it's not supposed to be
Oh,
is
it's not.
never a good thing.
I was up there a couple years ago with the snow shovel, having to like squash it all out.
Oh, yeah. I've lived in places like that where you got to move the snow once it hits the ground.
Oh, it was horrible. But yeah, like I said, it's been so dry. I am not complaining.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining about it.
Yeah. Now, we're gonna go to break here the next minute or two.
I'll see what
So,
I can
I'm not gonna start a new topic, obviously. But when we come back from the break, we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna look forward. I'm always complaining about the U.S. government's stance on cannabis, and descheduling is better than rescheduling from 1 to 3, and their banking act, how it always gets so far, and it's like pulling teeth. It's just freaking crazy.
Well, I just don't understand why they keep it so complicated. Like, it's not that complicated. Like, why do
Well,
they always want a bit more red tape and more bureaucracy and something that's not that complicated?
yeah, and with so many states that have it legal, medically as well as recreationally. I believe the recreational is over half now.
You can only get it in tincture form, no flower. Like, what is that?
Yeah, there are states that are like that.
There are states
Yeah,
that are like that you cannot actually access what you
yeah.
want to access. They're basically telling you, well, here you
Can't
go.
have smokables.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't
yeah. It's
edible.
okay. You can have topicals.
Drops or topicals, right? Like, how are you
Yeah.
gonna? And what are you gonna do? Rub what to get what? Topicals? Like, come on, really? That's not.
All right. Well, we're gonna discuss well, at least one party is looking at possibly what their position could be. Hopefully, their leaders who they've chosen will do the right thing, but we'll learn more about that when we get back from the break.
And I can come back with Project 2025's page 451 about how the GOP want to make sure that they can maintain stable marriages in the U.S.
No, we're not. All right, when we get back, we're going to be talking cannabis. Now, Project 25. This is
Well,
Pace Radio.
there's probably something about cannabis in there. I just
There
haven't.
probably is. There probably is. And if you find it, let us know.
Well, I will.
Yeah. Okay. You're watching the Pace Radio show. We're live here at paceradio.net.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection. We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from, the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tyndonega.
We have 2 lines of drinks. One is called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with. And then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. Open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats. And look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. Look at all the incense we have, as well as for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford, Ontario. Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hey, welcome back to Pace Radio Show. We are live right here at paceradio.net. All right. Now we're going to discuss what's going on down in the U.S. as far as where the parties, some information on where the party stands, especially now that the Democratic Party has picked their nominee and their vice president, and the Republicans have got theirs picked as well. But it's an important, it'll be in November. It's important. It's, it's cannabis. It doesn't make sense, as we said before the break, for it to be legal down there federally when there's so many places have it legal, whether it's medical or recreational use, right?
Right.
It's just silly. So I've got a couple of articles here as far as some information. I get some information on it. Now, what they're calling Harris and Waltz, they said this is the most pro-cannabis ticket of all time. which is very good, I would say. And that is also from U.S. Cannabis Council, a guy from there. And now, if Democrats win, Waltz would become the first vice president to have signed an adult use cannabis legalization bill into law. So what's that time? He's already signed a bill, so why wouldn't he do it again?
Yeah, he's very progressive, and I think that they would, like, again, make it federally legal so that it would be kind of like ours and kick it back to the states. You know what I'm saying? So that each state would have like ultimate say whether they would be what they would do with those laws, right? But federally, that means that they would be able to be like, I mean, I can go to my mom's in Lethbridge and buy cannabis in Lethbridge and come back to British Columbia and not worry about it being a thing, right? But in
Yeah.
the states, they have, you can't bring it across state lines, right?
No, I know. Well, I would hope that with federal legalization,
Right?
that would be eliminated, and
Right.
they could, even if the state, even if they set it up so the states have their independence, still have it federally legal.
But if they federally legalize it,
And there'd be, I'm sure there'd be some states that will opt out
right?
of
But how many
having.
people are sitting in their federal prisons for
Oh
small?
yeah, yeah,
That would eliminate maybe letting some of those people go
yeah.
as well.
Well, for simple possession, they have done that.
To a point, but there are still some people in some states still sitting
Yeah.
in jail.
Well, those are state laws, correct?
I
So
think that
the state end of it.
I guess, right? But
Yeah.
again, I think that it would free up a lot of. There's so much it would do, but
Yeah.
for them, again, the banking system, we talked about that too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that all has to be dealt with. There's no doubt about that, the banking system. Let's see. And now as far as Harris, she has held some round tables and discussions with people over the cannabis, and she has come out and said no one should be incarcerated for cannabis. I know as a prosecutor, she did prosecute people for cannabis.
But again, those are laws that were written up by her. She had to follow the law as a
She's
prosecutor.
following the law.
That's who's just doing her job, and that's how I look at that one. Is that there are things that sometimes you have to do because it's your job, whether you agree with it or not.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm looking at a different article, and they are praising this the Waltz guy on this.
His motto is like, mind your fucking business. And I've been saying that
Yeah,
for 10 years.
yeah.
Mind
Now,
your business.
there is some information here on the Republicans, just so that people know this isn't just on the Democratic end of things, but it is good to know that both of them on that ticket are pro cannabis, and that could hopefully only bode well for cannabis in the country, right? So, and like I said, she's Harris has prosecuted people, and you mentioned following laws, but for her to recognize cannabis that should be legalized, and people shouldn't be jailed for that. Some people say, well, she could right her wrongs, make it legal.
Well, that's why there's a group called Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, because there are police, and we've had them on our show, that do not agree with the laws anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah, Allison was a member there.
Right?
Now, as far as the Republican end, it says here that Trump, while he was in the White House, is relatively benign. Now, Jeff Sessions, who was his first attorney general, rescinded the Cole memo. And the Cole memo, what it did is it allowed the states to determine their own cannabis laws. So why would you rescind a memo that allows the states to have their own cannabis laws
Because they didn't want them to have
legalization? Huh?
Because they didn't want them to have cannabis laws. They just wanted them to be illegal.
Now, as far as Trump's running mate, this is Vance's stance on it. He's opposed to cannabis banking reform and declined to take a position on adult use legalization in his home state last year. So he is, he's from there. He's at his home state. He was whatever, a senator from there, and he wouldn't even speak
Why not?
about his position on cannabis. But yet, when you're voting against things cannabis related, then that doesn't make you very pro cannabis, does it?
Well, no, and that's the thing, not taking a stance either way on it. It shows how wishy-washy you are.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, it's one way or the other, buddy.
Well, I mean, if you're going to stand up and be, and stand up and either be for or against it, and then stand firm on that belief. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you can't be wishy-washy. For so many years, we've all stood by our beliefs about cannabis being medicine and how beneficial it is. We haven't. I die on that sword on that hill, right? And that's the difference
Oh,
between just people that have a full belief in what they're doing.
yeah. Well, look what's on our belief in cannabis as a medicine. Um, 20
Right.
years, right? Been doing this, right?
Right.
So,
Right. And again, there's no disputing the fact that it does help in
oh,
so many ways. Like I said, like, it might not be what we were prescribed for. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe it's not, you have to have that little prescription to help, like I do, because it's maybe not helpful for that, but it's helpful in so many other things.
well, I'm sort of looking at it this way: is that people, they always said that carrots were good for your eyes,
Yeah.
but there's lots of different carrots. What kind of carrots are good for your eyes?
Right. And
It's just
does
like there's
it
so
does
many different.
everybody, because I used to eat lots of carrots and I still have to wear glasses.
Yeah, I've had them for 30 years. I got hiccups now.
I remember my grandma told me that if you eat your carrots, you won't have to wear glasses.
Oh, yeah. I was allergic to them. I was allergic to carrots. That's not
But
why I wear glasses, though.
But again, like, so the old wives' tales that we believed,
Yeah.
and people still believe.
Oh, yeah. 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 Maybe there's something good in them that helps. I don't know. I don't know. But if you're using carrots as medicine because of the good nutrients within carrots, you don't see the benefit like you do when you smoke cannabis or when you eat cannabis.
No,
Right?
there's no comparison.
Yeah, there's no
I don't like
comparison.
the fact that too. We've talked about this before. How they put alcohol and cannabis in the same, because they're not the same. You know,
No.
because well, I don't know. I never heard alcohol being medicinal. Maybe it is.
Oh well, what it was during Prohibition, in the early days of Prohibition. It was medicinal, and doctors were writing out
Oh
prescriptions so
yeah,
patients
right.
could
Yeah,
access. Yeah.
that's right. But there was also people going blind and dying from it too.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That's
Right.
the bathtub stuff.
Right. So there are so many, and again, I'm not saying anybody's died from cannabis, but you can sure guarantee that you got some crappy moldy seedy something in the 30 or whatever years that you smoked cannabis. Or there was a time where all you could get was oil, and then you have to wonder if it was molasses or not. So there's some pretty
Mm,
shady, seedy, you know along the way in the 30 years too. I'm kind of happy that I can walk into a store and know that I'm not going to have to deal with some shady guy in an alley, right?
right, right. You just walk into a store. But like, you can go to the store and still buy something and still run into problems. I saw someone post some nasty pictures there recently about some moldy buds. But even on even something as simple as the vape cartridges, um, I've got it around here somewhere. The vape cartridge that leaked. It
Mhm.
wasn't. It's not a recall. And we'll get into that because there is a recall on the cannabis end, and that's not just here in Canada.
No,
Is it?
no, not every they're not all ethical.
Yeah. Um, right here, good old here in Canada, Health Canada's made a recall for cannabis due to incorrect THC and CBD labels,
Hmm.
values. Oh, only 23 units were sold. I'm just seeing how it says what was wrong with it. That's it. According to Health Canada product, the Tangerine Dream Dry cannabis has a total cannabinoid value lower than the actual THC and CBD values in the product. That was it. That's what the problem was, yeah. And they haven't received any adverse complaints about it. So. But there's one here in the U.S. that's going on that I seen, and it was something like 2,600 products
Wow.
in the one recall, and I'm thinking, holy crap! Now, unfortunately,
You have to remember too, in the States, if they're regulated by a state, and they don't have the regulations we do.
yeah, it's the state end of things.
Yeah, but again, like the U.S. doesn't have the same. Like we get a lot of red tape and
Oh, yeah.
bureaucracy up here. They don't seem to have all that regulatory interference, is what they call it, right? And that's why they can. That's why they're. Why we don't want their milk. Why do we
Well,
don't want?
yeah, like they've
Geez, like their FDA things are.
Okay, I found it here. Oh, I didn't find what I thought I found, but I found some information. If I can get this other screen here to close out of the way.
Hurricane Debbie like rolled
It was in
really
Missouri. Yeah, it says Missouri regulators recalled a staggering 2,600 cannabis products.
Was that
It was,
the new? Where is he from? Isn't he from Wisconsin?
yeah. It said it was necessary. It was necessary due to a significant lapse in the state mandated lab testing protocols. Okay. They say that the product wasn't subject to appropriate lab tests. 2,600 products. It came a products such as buds, edibles, concentrates, and more.
Eesh, that sounds like a whole run.
Yeah. Well, I read something earlier on it that the product, it was tested, but it wasn't tested properly. It was like it was tested before it was put together.
Put together
It wasn't the finished product wasn't tested.
The
Yeah.
flowers not finished. What does that mean?
Yeah. Just seeing what else it says here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they don't get into too much more other than things got to be tested, and this would be forcing people to get things tested more down the road and stuff like that. But yeah, 2,600 products.
Well, my friend that works in a production site here in town says that they're all exporting theirs to Germany.
Oh yeah.
My other friend that works in the one in Montreal says that they're like scrutinized for security and testing all the time. Like it's like there's always somebody looking over their shoulder. So some of them are pretty tight, I think, and I'm even out here, I think it's pretty well, but they're not even in the Canadian market anymore. They're
right, just selling over to Europe or something.
Just edibles. They're just doing edibles now.
And that's it, eh?
Yep, because they had that virus go through the system with the plants, and they could never recruit from that.
Oh, did they have that virus?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nasty.
Right.
Yeah. You gotta
vesicle or something like that. Anyway, it's a pretty nasty.
Yeah. It gets into the rooting system, and especially if you're growing hydroponic, it'll just overtake. Yeah, it'll just overtake everything.
It did. So, and once it's through the system too, like you can't get it out.
Yeah, because it was widespread in the U.S.
Yeah, you know how they got it, but we're pretty close to the U.S. border too, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, something.
That's what I was
told.
told. But they have to be doing some sort. I don't know where. I don't know where. I don't know. I don't ask. It's
no.
I just know that that's what I was told. They're exporting to Germany.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they're not. Hopefully they're not exporting nasty stuff that was grown with that
I wasn't a fan of any of their stuff, to be fair. But
Yeah.
a friend in Australia said that Tweed's got and Tilray as a actually like a site under their like their branding in Canada and going in Australia for medical down there, and the
Yeah.
price is about the same. Like they're paying they were paying a little more. They were paying for like our black market prices like 3 years ago, 200 an ounce. I think it might have come down now like ours have, but you walk into the store, I can still buy ounces for like cheap, and then there's also like $150.99, bougie.
Yeah.
And
Well, have I don't know. I know I haven't done this, but compared the price between like a product that is available to a medical patient who orders online and the LP sends it to them versus the price of that same product in the store.
I don't know how many people are actually doing that anymore. I guess if you're rural and don't have access to a store that's close to you, you would be. But I'm in a town that is a small town. We've got, like I said, 10
Mm.
stores. Like, there's
Oh
more.
yeah, but there's got to be somebody that's out there. I was.
Yeah, but I mean, we've got more cannabis stores and we have liquor stores now, to be honest. Like, we do.
Well,
We've got,
there is.
right?
Yeah. Well,
So,
yeah. Well, yeah. Our province just opened up to all the convenience
yeah,
stores.
like, I mean, I don't know anywhere that, like I said, unless you're living on a farm out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, even when Alvin goes to, back to work in Alberta, they're like right along the highway, like in every little rural community that he drives through. There's a cannabis store, like Vermilion, and like stupid little towns like Claresholm and Matin and Vulcan. They've got like 3 and 4 of them, and then you go Vermilion, Edson, all of them, all those
More
little.
cannabis stores than gas stations.
There's like Alberta's public or private, right? Their liquor went private years ago, so it's
Mm.
easier for just anybody to add it to the menu. So easy out there. They had 229 stores before we even opened up.
Right. Oh, I know. Alberta, when legalization started, they just flew ahead of everybody when it comes to the stores. And I think they're number 2 now. I know we're number 1 here in Ontario.
I said we've had 2, or was it 2 shut down here? I think, or one for sure. Cabin shut down. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened. But I only go to the one. I think everybody, and the one has changed hands. It was Johnny's Joints, and now it's Cabana something, Canna Cabana or something.
Canna Cabana.
Yeah. So it changed from being one to another. Like they've changed hands, but it's still there.
Right. Right. Yeah, ours are all still operating. And
We can't sustain a Cobb's Bakery, but we can sustain 10 pod stores. What the fuck is that?
yeah, I don't know. The I seen in the news, how Calgary has the Stampede, and during the Stampede they have a cannabis area. The out there in Prince George, I see that a place has is going to hold some type of cannabis event where people will be consuming and stuff like that. Out in the public at some event. Now, unfortunately, I don't have it on top of my head, so to think what they're doing exactly. But it's interesting to see some places are maybe challenging some of those laws, or maybe those laws are just opening up.
Maybe it's Sarah.
What's that?
Said
Sarah.
maybe behind it. She's living up that way.
It was a cannabis, some type of cannabis event of. I feel sorry for people with big thumbs because I have small thumbs and I still can't hit the friggin' keys on my phone.
Right?
Yeah.
Problem.
Yeah. Okay. Cannabis. I think I got it now. Oh, there it is. No. Street party. It's a cannabis street festival. Returns to Prince George. And that's what it is. It's a dancing street festival for
Wow.
19 plus for safe consumption site, live music, dancers, food trucks, local businesses, and more, bringing with it a good time for many.
Right on.
It's something to do with the BC Craft Farmers Co-op. So, but yeah, if places are starting to do that at festivals or whatever, like, it's got to be opened up more. Can't just be limited little few here and there.
Well, that's what I was saying on my last show, that maybe it's time to do another cannabis cup
Another
here.
cannabis what?
Another cannabis cup here.
Oh yeah.
It's time to
Now this street festival, it's not just cannabis. There's other things that are involved in it. But yeah, 19 plus consumption zone for adults. But also many things but other things for families to do. Press on pause. It's a nail business. So you can go get your nails done while you're there smoking some cannabis.
That's got 3 nights of live music, craft beer, delicious food, and fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's what I
sounds
mean. Like these we're seeing little bits, little dribs and drabs going on across the country, and they
well, like I
gotta
said,
be
got to take the stigma out of it, right? And
yeah.
we
Yeah.
engage with our own communities, and that's what we've said for years. Like we're drips and drabs, like all the way across the country. There might only be 3 or 4 of us, but the more we challenge and stand up in our community and make change because of cannabis, and show people that consume cannabis are just like everybody else.
Everybody else, just
Oh,
regular old people.
right? Like
We sneeze
not
and
any
fart.
and we have to remove the stigma, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't, you stay, home
Well,
and don't go and.
yeah.
But a lot of people aren't comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So
Well, when I see people pulling into a cannabis place, whether it's down on the one of the reserves when I'm driving through or visiting, or leave one of the stores or whatever locally, it's those people wouldn't have done that years ago.
nope.
They would have either gone to the dealer, or who knows, maybe they weren't even cannabis consumers, but with legalization,
Well, that's the thing.
um
Like, how many people that were kind of like curious, knew that you smoke but would never smoke it because it was illegal, are now consuming it because it's legal, right?
this is legal. Yeah.
Them back was the fact that it was illegal because of their jobs, because of stigma, because
The
of
stigma. Yeah.
whatever the illegality of it. Because a lot of people don't ever want to get caught, so they can't travel. A lot of people in Canada, like that I know, love to go to Mexico and love to go, to Europe and do things, right? And with a criminal record of any kind, you can't. So you just stay away from anything that's going to ever cause you, which is, you know, back then I've got a friend, picked up for a few joints, still, can't.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know somebody got picked up for. Well, actually, I know a couple of people that were picked up for a few joints, and yeah, the one doesn't travel to the U.S. anymore.
I can't travel.
Um, yeah, and the other one travels to the U.S. all the time. But they travel to the U.S. so often that it's been dealt with, right? So
Well, you can pay for a waiver. I mean,
yeah.
I could go to the U.S. All I have to do is pay for a waiver. I don't even have to get a
Well,
Canadian
let's
recognize that anyway. All I
let's
gotta
hope
do is
to get hopefully cannabis friendly government in the U.S. will eliminate those necessities. But then I guess I don't know. I guess it depends on what somebody who was busted in the past and they have expunged the criminal records. Those shouldn't be issues. Those people shouldn't have issues crossing the borders. And the same here in Canada. It's been expunged that they could get their program operating a lot better.
well, I think that anybody who hasn't committed horrific fraud or murdered somebody or raped somebody should be able to travel freely, right? If you're a murderer, you'd probably be still sitting in jail, so you wouldn't have to worry about traveling. You know?
Well, some people do their 25 years and then.
Right, but again, then they
Yeah.
then actually, you've done your time, Adam. I think that your criminal record shouldn't follow you for your whole fucking.
Yeah.
I think once you've done your time, did your crime, whatever, there should be a certain amount of like statutory limitations, because there's statutory limitations on being charged with the crime. So why shouldn't there be a statutory limitations after you've been charged, did the time, and then it's over with? You know what I'm saying?
That would be eliminated from your criminal record. Would you want somebody
You
who
wouldn't have
murdered
criminal record
somebody?
ever. Yeah, like say for example, you were charged 20 years ago, and you haven't had another charge or anything in 20 years of any kind, but you still have to get a criminal record check, and it still just brings you back from. A lot of people aren't the same person they were 20 years ago. Most people aren't.
Well,
right?
I just happen to know somebody who was convicted of murder, and they got a second-degree murder, but they got out on their parole.
Yeah.
But the good news is they're back. So.
Right. But again, then that person shouldn't be able to travel. Like I said, there would be an exception. But again, if you're like, sold a bit of weed or,
yeah, and that's where I was sort of going to. Where you get there are a lot of lines that should be drawn.
Oh, absolutely, for sure, right? Yeah. Because the thing is, the habitual criminal that did that will continue to do it. They would never not have a criminal record for 20 years. You know what I mean? Like people that don't have haven't rehabilitated, reoffended and haven't been recharged again, and say 20, 25 years, probably aren't the same people. The people that were charged 25 years ago will still be being charged every, they would never get that milestone where they would be able to travel.
All right, time for us to go to break. Past bottom the hour or top of the hour. We're on the closing end of things. We're gonna go pay some bills. We'll be right back. You're watching the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net, and I gotta move that out of the way so I can hit the right button. Bye.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
Pace Radio is the people advocating cannabis education radio network.
Legacy 420 have an awesome array of cannabis-infused beverages, from pop to Nature's Nectar's teas, all in amazing flavors. What a selection! We even have a delicious mango-infused juice, and let me tell you, it's delicious.
Everything is infused in-house, so we buy our syrup from, the same place where everybody else buys their syrup for their pop, and in the infusion is done in the lab. It's all canned here, labeled here, produced 100% on Tynaniga.
We have two lines of drinks. One is called our Nature's Nectar. That was our original line that we came out with. And then we also have a line under the Red E brand. We have them in 10 milligrams, 30 milligram, and 60 milligram cans.
What a great selection for a get-together with friends or after a long day. Remember, if you want to wet your whistle with on-site lab-tested products, come see your trusted partner. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
And you're watching the Pace Radio Show. All right, Tamara, last half hour, last 25 minutes now. Teen cannabis use. One of the things that was feared about when it came to cannabis use was, what about the children? And with cannabis being legal, it's going to be more accessible for minors to get at. We hear the story about the kids, but is teen cannabis use up over these last few years with legalization?
I think they said at the very beginning that there had been an increase in the first few surveys in the first few years, but there had been an increase in teen use.
Yeah, this report here, it's from the States. It's from the Center of Disease Control and Prevention.
Right
They said that in 2013, there were 17% of the high school students reported using cannabis within the last month. That is down from 23% in 2013. So it's come down 6% with it being legalized for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So much for legal cannabis leading to more youth using it.
Right. Well, there was a lot of fear mongering and misinformation, just like there was a lot of things. But again, like I said, with the fear mongering and the devil's lettuce and all these things that started back in the 20s, like reefer madness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prohibition and
They say that male students have showed a marked drop in cannabis use over the past decade, with rates falling from 25% in 2013 to 15% in 2023.
I think they actually do it when they're younger, and I think by the time they're outgrown it, and they're like, I don't know.
Female rates have dropped as well when it comes to teenagers consuming cannabis.
Yeah, I think it's not the flaw they think it is. I think they figure they're going to be like, "Whoa, that's just like the weirdest stuff," and all I do is eat and fall asleep.
Yeah, and maybe with the fact that cannabis is legal in so many states,
and the top
that has changed things. Instead of being something that is, let's get cannabis, let's get some marijuana because it's illegal, and we can prove that we can do stuff illegal.
I think they're staying away from the harder drugs because they know the harms in it.
Yeah.
Being taught that there are, and they're seeing older siblings or a family member or friend's family member or the people on the street, pushing shopping carts.
Yeah. The people are seeing, it hasn't ended the world or anything like that. And
I think it's saving people in downtown Vancouver. And Chris Backer out in Halifax with his substitution program. I think it's actually, coming full circle and actually saving lives more than anything, right?
Yeah. A lot of people have benefited from those programs, and it's unfortunate. I can never see a legal program that would do that.
Well, like I was explaining to my friend, even with the safe supply that we have in British Columbia,
Mm.
it's distributed in pill form, and it's not the drug of choice. And there was a girl or a woman busted and arrested up in northern British Columbia because she was supplying the addicts with their drug of choice and taking their pills in trade. Right, and that's where the
Um,
safe supply was ending up, was in other people's hands in the
yeah.
black market rather than where it should be being used. And then the ones that are using it properly really need that safe access to continue because they're functioning, they have their kids back, they have jobs, they're doing really well. And then
Mm.
you have those few bad apples that
Well,
totally
yeah.
fuck the system for everybody, right?
It's too bad that they wouldn't look at, and I think I have read some stuff in the past where they've done studies on the cannabis and helping people along that line as a harm reduction. And I think mixed results on it.
Well, it helps with the nausea from the methadone and from the Suboxone for sure.
Mm.
That's one thing that my daughter said because my daughter was taking
Yeah.
Suboxone, and the
We-
cannabis it wasn't enough for her not to crave those. She needed the
yeah.
Suboxone.
And you got to look at, there's so many states that have implemented a cannabis program and the opiate prescriptions have gone down,
Oh yeah,
which, yeah,
because people should be able to place themselves in their own bodies, right?
yeah.
Like
So,
we don't need the government in our bedrooms, and we don't need the government in our health, right? They should be able to
yeah.
supply the health money that continues to keep us all healthy, but none of their business what we use to keep ourselves healthy.
Yeah. Here's some other stuff that's in this thing. It says that a survey done last year found that a lot of people in the U.S. consider cannabis to be less harmful than alcohol, cigarette, vapes, and other tobacco products. Completely agree with that. And a study in Canada found that legalization was associated with a decline in beer sales. And they also found that the use of cannabis alone was not associated with higher risks of car crash.
No, see, again, penny penny, the sky didn't fall. But yeah, exactly. I bet you that makes Dougie for it all. Maybe that's why he wants to put it in every corner store because the sales have gone down. Next thing you know, they'll be packaging cannabis with unicorns, so it's appealing to children. Like, fuck, they can sell it, right? Like, unreal. That's funny. I didn't realize that
You-
about beer sales. I didn't know that stat. That's a good one. I like it.
yeah, oh, yeah. Reduced beer
I love
sales.
I love that. I love the fact that beer sales, because I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, let's face it. I'm not a huge consumer of alcohol. I
No,
used
neither am I.
to, right?
Yeah, a JAMA report said that neither legalization nor the opening of retail stores led to increases in youth consumption rate.
No,
Yeah.
no, and like I said, I think that a lot of parents, because we're like myself personally,
Oh,
so with our children about cannabis use, and like my kids have always come to me and I've always said I prefer you using cannabis or alcohol. I've always said that. Prefer you
yeah.
do nothing, but let's be real here. Kids are going to do something, cigarettes, something. None of my kids smoke cigarettes. Well, Brianna does, but Taven doesn't smoke cigarettes, Tyrus or Talia. And
Mm.
anything that I've ever gotten for my kids, I knew that it was safe.
Yeah. My kids don't
Or it was
smoke cigarettes.
and I would always make sure that if they're gonna get to use it, please come to me and I'll get it for
But now here's a study that was done in Canada. High school students reported that it was more difficult to access cannabis since the government legalized it.
you. Yep, totally is. Because
Yeah.
like I said, nobody's growing it, nobody's selling it because they can't. There's no they can't compete. You can't have
Yeah.
one growing one strain and he's taking it around with his 10 little pounds and trying to charge a $5,000 for it. Nobody's buying it. you know nobody's biting anymore there, dude.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. Why do you think I work at a grocery store? My compassion club was shut right down.
Yeah.
Completely. I was helping patients for a really long time before legalization, and all kinds of different forms, making candy, getting stuff from the coast with icy pot, and bringing all those different products in so that there was access for patients here in my town. Right, since legalization, nothing.
Yeah. No,
No,
just dried up, eh?
nobody even wants the icy pot. I don't hear nobody calls rates for dollars.
No, yeah, yeah. Is they just find it easier to just go to the store?
Or they're just not using topicals, or I mean,
Uh,
I don't
Damn,
know.
I don't know. There's, topicals they have their market. There's people
They
that
do.
like topicals.
Well, we've got a couple girls that got their cannabis topicals in the farmers market here. So
Yeah,
they're
well, yeah, I know.
CBD bombs, and
Yeah, I see a guy that goes into a market about an hour and a half from me. He
yep,
goes into their local market and he's selling, like you say, CBD products.
yep, yep. And it's just all like bath and body stuff. It's nothing smokable, nothing
Right.
edible. It's all body stuff, like
Yeah.
health, yeah. Beauty,
Yeah.
yeah, considered
Health
beauty
and beauty.
product,
Yeah,
yeah.
things
CBD
that
mixed with goat's milk, soaps, and oh yeah, you name it.
uh, um even though even though they are available in the store, I don't consider them recreational items.
I don't understand that. Like I said, how are you gonna run? What are you gonna have a party? Run around and leave with what? Here, you want to share some like hand cream? What?
Well, I had
Over
the
the
gathering. I had the,
repository.
I had the gathering a couple weeks ago, a week or two ago. I didn't have anybody ask me if I had any topical cannabis in order to pass around to everybody.
What about suppositories, Al? Like, are you guys
I've
gonna share?
never no, no, I don't. I've never had anybody ask me about passing them
You can
around.
get them at the fucking store. Like that's the thing,
Oh, I
and
know.
and it's like, when did that? So like, I guess maybe that's the whole kicker on why they don't need medicinal stores, because you
Well,
can access it at a recreational store.
well,
And
yeah. Facial scrubs. Who uses facial scrubs recreationally? Come on.
me, I share it
Huh.
with my dogs. We have a big
Do you,
party. Facial scrub.
do you sit around the fire?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, know.
Some more scrub, Al. Oh my god,
Yeah.
are we gonna smoke that scrub? Like,
This just doesn't.
I know it just
Yeah.
seems so ridiculous, but
Well,
like,
and I haven't been back to this store in a long time, but one store that I was in, they actually had a section, a wellness section,
there's one at the store I go to too. It's in
which I found. I looked at wellness would be considered, you know, medicinal of some sort.
Well,
Like, you're putting your hand lotion on your skin or lotion on your skin for a reason. Your skin is dry or you got,
oh
you know,
yeah, it's the biggest organism that we've got, right? It's the
yeah.
biggest organ
It's
in our
still,
body.
even if you're just using it for dry skin, it's still medicinal use.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Like who passes around a tube of lotion sitting around the fire or around the table? Like, it's just,
I don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't
I
make sense to
maybe
me.
it's just, yeah, make it make sense, right? No, I get that. We've
That's
just
why that's why youth consumption rates are down. It's because
they're all
they're not into rubbing topical creams on. I don't know.
they're not into lotion parties.
Lotion parties. Oh, but
Uh,
yeah, but even still, it's good that the products are there. But you know, they are actually there was an article that was out recently that there's supposed to be something coming out this fall. I believe it's this fall. To deal with the CHPs, which is the cannabis health products, and allowing CBD products to be available without a prescription or a doctor's paperwork type thing. You could just go into the pharmacy and buy it off the shelf.
Why do you need a prescription? You just buy it off the shelf.
Well, that's the thing. That's what's gonna, like, you just go to your health food store or your pharmacy and just
Has all that kind of, it's
yeah.
funny because there's stuff called dreams and all these little like sleeping aids you can get at the health food store. The second ingredient is usually sativa. And it says it right on the bottle.
Really?
Yeah, they're called calms. And the second ingredient was sativa. And I bought those a long time ago from the health food store.
Oh, really? I just can't see sativa and calm going together.
Right? So I don't know if they're using sativa.
Not in my world. I know maybe in other people's world, but not
Maybe
in my world.
that's their like word for hemp or CBD, sativa.
It could be. It could
Right?
be. Yeah.
Because sativa usually has more CBD in it than, I don't know.
Like I've seen CBD lotions in a health food store, and when you flipped over, the ingredients was hemp seed oil.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I don't think I've got a bottle of those around anymore. But we used to get
Yeah,
them.
no, yeah. I never had one. I just
Sativa, though. There was no like numbers or equivalency or percentage. It would say like what was the first lavender and sativa and blah 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 and all these other stupid.
Sativa L, maybe
That could have been it too.
Sativa
Yeah.
L, because that's cannabis sativa L. That was what our strain was called when we got it from the government.
It could be like I said, they were called calms, and we would get them at the health food store. Nutters, actually, the Nutters food store downtown.
Mhm.
Yeah, at first, even when they told me to get him magnesium and stuff when he was having problems sleeping, it had melatonin in it, and yeah, other stuff too. Like it was just a mix.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't
Chemical
know.
concoction.
They didn't do shit for him, that's for sure.
Didn't help, eh?
They
Yeah,
didn't,
and like
not helpful.
it
Melatonin.
can say it's on the label, but the amount that's in there.
There was, like I said, there was no amounts or anything of any ingredients, a percentage of, or milliliters or milligrams or anything. It was just a listing of what was in it, right? I don't know.
Not enough to list.
Kind of like the tincture for magnesium that the health food, or the
Yeah.
naturopath gave him for his, for his tonsils.
Mm-hmm. Right. Let's see what else I want to talk about. I guess we got 5 minutes or so here left. What I want to mention offhand, because we went through the topics I wanted to talk about. Basically, what I find a lot of times you get podcasts and stuff. What we do on Saturdays here, we run it on the Pace Radio Network as well as other locations. Is that we run a program called Re-Rolled Saturdays, and what that is all of our past shows over the last week that are broadcasted on not only the Pace Radio Network but also on 420 Radio. We put it all together on Saturdays to run, and you can sit there for like hours on end. You don't have to, you don't have to refresh your browser, anything like that. It just runs continuously, and in between different broadcasts are promos or interviews with people. Well, right now we're running some of the Karma Cup judging things. I've broken down each of the samples into little different segments and run them in between our regular shows. So this past Saturday, you could sit there and watch it from 8 o'clock in the morning till, when was it? 10:30, 11 o'clock.
That's
Saturday
awesome.
night. Saturday night, continuous cannabis and psychedelic stuff and it'd just be like sitting there watching regular television. Things just come and go, programming all day long.
All day long, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the best part about having, the different content that can be this ran consecutively.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's the Veteran Action Council that's in there. They always have interesting interviews with other veterans. There's new stuff that's coming down the pipe that I've been working on with another content provider. That's Casper there for Time for Hemp.
Right.
He's doing recordings. He's getting up, building up a bit of a supply, and then we'll be running some of the stuff here on the network.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Go and look for that Zeppelin. I couldn't find it, but I did find something that we probably all had. Those fix it, deficit, legalize it.
Oh, herb, yeah, herb for herb.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I found a bunch of, but it's around here somewhere. I know it is, but yeah, I did find that. But
I
also
still got the shirt.
Do you?
Yeah.
I still have lots of shirts. I haven't gotten
Oh
anywhere.
yeah.
I still have the shirt that I had Tommy Chong sign years ago, like the
Yeah.
first time I met him. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, and it's still got a
I got
signature.
boxes.
Well, I never washed the shirt. It's still in. Yeah.
Oh
Anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, I got boxes of them too.
Yeah, I got boxes that are labeled Canna Teas.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Yeah. When Gail and I were talking one day about, saving things or whatever, and I said, I don't, save medallions or coins or collect things. That's what I'm looking for. And she said to me, well, what about all those T-shirts you got?
You know, it was funny because when we moved here, I had to take Taven to school. And I went to go take him to school and realized that I didn't have a T-shirt that didn't have a pot leaf or a fucking pot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know how that feels.
I will wrap myself up in a sweater and take him to school because then I had to go to the thrift store and try and find just something to take him to school that didn't have pot leaves on it. Like,
I haven't got a white T-shirt. I haven't got a white T-shirt where that's not cannabis related.
Right? I don't think I either. Well, I guess since I started working in the in the real world, I've had to change my attire. But I got ones like leggings with pot leaves all over them and all kinds of. They're in a drawer because I just can't wear that stuff to work.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, some of them they'll have the cannabis leaves on them, and then I got one there. It's got in writing WII, like in gray. It's just in gray, WII, and then it has apostrophe D in green. What's WII say? Well, we video games, right? So they put in like a crayon marker. D, it's silk screened on there, but it looks like a crayon marker, apostrophe D, so it says weed.
Yeah, I get that too. That's
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I
guess little things like that, eh? I always felt the T-shirt was like a walking billboard, a sidewalk sign, something along that line.
Well, I always thought it was like a statement. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm wearing this and I know you're seeing it. And it's like, fuck you.
Yeah. Just go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
At the mall, wherever.
Well, when we were in school, I think I remember, you couldn't wear this to school and you couldn't wear that to school. So you got to school and you could wear whatever you wanted. It was a statement to say, fuck you, I'm wearing this whether you like it or not, right?
We had one that was school as a ball and chain. And it had a guy with a prisoner outfit with a ball and chain around his ankle.
Yeah. Right.
You want to go home and change that, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wore that Harper T-shirt underneath my shirt the day that I was, sitting at the election desk with the registry because I couldn't be political, but nobody could see my T-shirt.
Oh well, I actually worked at an office for a candidate, an NDP candidate once, and he was all for cannabis, big time. So he allowed me to put literature, cannabis literature, in the office, so that people could take it. So this would be back in like, I don't know, 2015, 2014, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was all for cannabis. He said Jack, because Jack, he knew Jack Layton. He was friends with Jack and everything, eh? So he was all, Jack was as well, eh? So
I'm so happy to see Olivia Chow as the mayor of Toronto.
mayor of Toronto. Alrighty, I know we've been gabbing for an hour and a half, but there's always something that could be missed. Anything else you want to bring up before I hit the?
I don't think so. I
Don't
think
think
we've
so.
covered a lot today, but just Monday cannabis and coffee with marijuana.
All right, sounds good. Don't forget you can find us paceradio.net. You can find us on Facebook. I was gonna say we're on X, but now X requires payment in order to broadcast
Yeah,
live
I
to
said
them.
that. I made a little, promo before that, mentioned that we're not on TikTok either because we're not allowed to say cannabis on that.
Yeah.
We're
So
on the
that yeah, you'll find us. We're around on the socials. Other than that, thanks to our sponsors, legacy420.com, the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, Limestone City Hydroponics.ca, and addies.ca. And thanks to everybody for tuning in to the broadcast. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, and goodbye. Let's share PACE everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.